the expert. Okay, members of the media, I'm going to start. Today, just now, the Parliamentary Special Select Committee, PSSC, on International Relations and International Trade convened a hearing to address the imminent closure of the Goodyear factory located at Shah Alam. Now, this news broke out about a week ago, so the committee acted very swiftly and we decided to have a hearing. And in order to do this hearing, we have asked MITI, represented by Dato' Baria, TKSU, but she's not going to be in the press conference, it's okay. But MITI sent the team of MIDA as well to explain the situation. We also asked the expert opinion of Kor Yuling and also Professor Jeffrey Williams to give a proper view about this issue. And lastly, we also invited AT&S, the big Austrian company, semiconductor company, that was a feature in the New York Times article being circulated around. They came to testify as well. So we can't really disclose fully what the conversation was, but when the report comes out, it should come out in about 3 months' time. You will see it. But the main point I want to stress is this. There are 550 employees affected by this closure. This closure is supposed to happen in June, from June onwards, in stages. We are very happy to say that the MITI has given a very good answer that they're going to take care of all of these employees affected, of which a bulk of it are actually Malaysians. Yeah, we are also expecting a generous compensation from Goodyear to ensure that the transition is smooth, and we are quite confident that most of the workers can be placed into a new job with the help of MIDA. Yeah, but more importantly, we had a discussion on the landscape of the foreign direct investment. And we're happy to note that from AT&S explanation, it's looking quite good. We were given expert views. Professor Jeffrey Williams and also Kor Yuling are here to answer any questions you have regarding foreign investment. But their explanation is very inspiring, I suppose, noting down that there are efforts by the government that is producing results. AT&S in particular invested about 7 to 8 billion ringgit in this semiconductor thing. And in particular, realizing the situation in China and US trade war, that there are opportunities with the right drive and the right position to ensure that investments flow to Malaysia. Losing investment in Goodyear is an issue that is quite painful, but in the context of the gains we're making in the semiconductor industry, I think on the overall balance sheet position, we are better. Yeah. So I don't want to make this into a small matter. I'm not saying that the Goodyear closure is not that important, but in the context of things, we are still on the upside overall. Yeah. The committee feels this is the case. We are preparing recommendations to MITI to answer, and we expect them to answer within 3 months. And when that comes out, we'll call another press conference. Yeah. But before that, there is a press statement out here for you all to write. Please get a copy. It's a little bit more generic. Yeah. But you can ask any of us here, my committee members are here, to answer any question, or you can direct the questions directly to the expert. Yeah. So let's take some questions from the media. Anybody? No? Any media members want to ask anything on this issue? 550 jobs in June, right? Steady closure, but we are gaining in the higher tech sector as proved by AT&S investment. So nobody wants to ask anything on this? Yeah, please. No, that's why. What I want to stress is this. There are going to be closures of factories. We've seen it in Western Digital, Panasonic, right? But a lot of times media don't highlight the fact that there are also investments coming in. At a personal level, I know Korean investors, OCI, has pumped in, 2 billion, right? ATNS. If the New York Times never covered this story, would the Malaysian media pick this up? It's a fundamental question, right? There are good news coming in, Sure, the economy has its own issues regarding inflation, wages, and issues like that. But I think in terms of foreign investment, the Prime Minister's efforts under the Madani government, he's been traveling a lot. Yes, there are criticisms about this, but he is producing results. So let's give a overall fair view on the issue. Yeah. Again, I'm not playing down losing 550 jobs. What I'm saying is there are a lot other gains out there. And this is where the committee hears, get a balanced view, make recommendations to MITI, and MITI hopefully will reply to us and also start producing some sort of balance sheet of companies' loss and companies' gain into Malaysia. But more importantly, there is a trend that shows that Malaysia is going higher and higher in the scale of technology. Yeah? Perhaps I can invite Professor Williams to add in a few points. Yeah. Prof? On FDI.
Thanks, YB. We had a discussion basically about how we put this into the global context of changes in technology and particularly the movement toward fourth industrial technology. Now, Goodyear is an old-style manufacturer, and as a consequence of that, when it moves toward new technology globally, it's likely that those plants that are focused on employing lots of people will be at a disadvantage against those plants that use a great deal of new machinery. And that's really outside of the control of Malaysian policymakers or even Malaysian managers. But on the opposite side of that, Malaysia is extremely well placed for fourth industrial revolution technology in semiconductors. And so what you're seeing is because there is a shift in global trade patterns and because there's a shift in global investment patterns based on technology changes, nonetheless, Malaysia is very well positioned to benefit. And as YB said, it's really important to have not just the best conditions in terms of policy. What has happened recently has been a huge increase in the number of approvals, and that means that there is a huge increase in the number of companies that are interested in investing in Malaysia. That's very, very important. The task now for MITI and MIDA is to convert those into actual investments. And it appears that they're having quite a lot of success. Anywhere 70 to 80% of these approvals are being converted in the last 2 years. And so it's that process of policy that is at the root of turning all of the efforts of the trade missions and the Prime Minister's visits overseas into actual investment. That's what's important. And also, not just having the policies and that conversion process, the administration of it, but also having the best conditions for companies. And that means looking, particularly for international investors, they want to see environmental, social, and governance issues prioritized. Of course, because they themselves have that at the core of their own companies, but I think equally, if not more important in some instances, because their investors and their governments overseas require it. So they have to see that here in Malaysia and the opportunities for them to bring that to Malaysia as much as they would see it in any other country. And that's also a big challenge. So Malaysia is making a lot of progress on sustainability issues and environmental, social, and governance issues, but that's clearly something that is an attractor if it's done properly, and it can also be a barrier if it's not done properly. So that's also an area of focus for policy.
Okay. Any more questions? Anyone? No?
Come.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Ko Yu Ling. I think I want to pick up a bit where Professor Jeffrey mentioned about environmental social governance, or ESG. I think there's a tremendous interest and capability in Malaysia to deliver into global supply chains for high compliance, for environmental, basically non-deforestation products. Malaysia is in a wonderful position to do this. Obviously, there needs to be some investment into the data side of things. Of course, we are proceeding into this industrial upgrading anyway, and having the information and data about whether it's from farm products of Malaysia, whether it's palm oil or rubber, then this data can be transmitted to processors, to the downstream, and then transformed into value-added and in fact high-value-added products. I think is a very exciting opportunity. In Malaysia, it's quite interesting because we also have a lot of upstream and integrated players. There are a lot of doubts out there, and this is maybe holding things back a bit, and also views that, why bother with, selling to the West or East or whatever. People have their opinions, but I think where we are sitting in Southeast Asia, we access all supply chains, and I think looking at the cost benefit of these things in a very, open and in a very focused way, I think will allow people to see these opportunities, because we are talking about premiums even for, green certifications of 5%, if not even more. When the raw material is trading at 900 or $1,000 a ton, don't you want to have another $200, $300, $400 premium on top of that? If you can then provide the data, which then can corroborate these things, or even where we're sitting in the middle, where we're taking raw materials or processed products from China, which are they going to be compliant with what the US wants, with EU wants. These are all the lead markets which actually teach us to be very resilient and, in fact, to go up the value chain. So I hope that there'll be a lot more excitement in this area. So far, it's been a bit of a niche, whether it's 5, 10, 15% of the supply chain. But with the regulations coming in, whether it's EU or US, it's actually going to increase the demand potential for certain, tropical commodities from what used to be 10-20% to, I believe, 30-40%. And there'll be a lot more players, in fact, SMEs, who can benefit from this. And the lobbying that Malaysia has done, say, to the EU on the smallholders has really been received in the EU, and that's actually opening a pathway for smallholder products, which then can deal with SMEs all the way to the big trader and processors to the global brand names. And this is something which isn't often open, actually, under voluntary sustainability. That has been a very B2B, very niche, and now we have this amazing opportunity. And I believe our MITI and our ministries have ESG and compliance units to help make this happen. So it's Malaysia's in a good place, and I think businesses, including SMEs, willing to invest, in fact, to get themselves into these higher revenue streams.
Okay. Anybody want to add? Datuk, you.
We are going to make a trip to ATNS in June for the select committee, and we will see how it goes, and we hope it will be a fruitful tour. Yeah.
So we're going to try and learn a bit more about the whole process.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Okay.
Nothing? No? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.